What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 38 of Value Town. I'm your host, ChanManV, and joining me as always is Trump. What's going on, Trump? Still got the TSM hat on the bear over there. Awesome. And then our guest today is Thijs from Team Meet Your Maker. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, thanks for having me in the show. It's going fine with me.
All right, good stuff. Well, got a lot of stuff to talk about today, but we might as well just jump into the big news right off the bat. Obviously, next, and then we'll continue on with a lot of other news going on with IEM and Meta, and we'll talk about decks as we always do. But let's talk about the Naxx news. That's obviously just been announced. I think it was announced exactly like an hour ago. But we finally have a release date, guys, and it's going to be next Tuesday, basically the next maintenance period. What do you guys think?
All right, I have to start off with this one.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, so with Naxx coming out, everything will change. So to that, I have to say,
Uh-oh.
say goodbye to the pain of the past. We don't have to feel it anymore, 'cause Naxx is coming out the door.
Yes. That pretty much sums it up. I think that sums it up for the majority of the players these days. Because a lot of people have been talking about the meta, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, a lot of speculation that was going to be this week because of a lot of these clues or these innuendos people were reading into. I think they might have been overly reading into. They were thinking it was going to be this week, but next week. Thijs, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm really hyped. I can't wait to test all the new cards, test new decks, making new decks, seeing other decks on the ladder and not the standards that are out now.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped for the cards that come out.
I don't even know what Deck Wars is going to be like next week. Like each week to week, right? The dungeons will come out, the new cards will be introduced, so it's going to be pretty insane. The meta game's just going to be crazy, and then we're going to be crossing over seasons too during all this. So I wonder, you think we'll have any phenomenon where there'll just be people who just happen to be good in this really short period of time that get into the world champs and that sort of thing, or do you think it's not going to be that big of a change with just a few cards here?
I think the whole meta will change with so many death rattles, so many changes in the meta. I think it will really change the meta really hard, but that's just a prediction.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. About 2 months ago, I think it was, one card was reduced in mana cost by 1, and the entire meta shifted like completely, and all the decks were viable, and everyone was playing like everything. And
That's
that,
true.
for those not in the know, was Unleash the Hounds, nerfed by 1 mana.
Yep, and then that's true. That's very, very true. So we'll be seeing some new cards in the first dungeon being the free dungeon, which will be the Arachnid Quarter. So definitely be sure to. I think all you have to do is log into, just like jump into the first dungeon, and you get it free the rest of the time. So it's only free for 1 month. So be sure to check it out just as soon as you can. But Tuesday should be a pretty great day. I think basically all the streamers will be streaming it. So lots of good stuff for the community. Can't wait. And all right, everybody's been anticipating it. So good stuff. All right, let's talk about IEM Shenzhen. Have you guys been watching the event? It's been at some crazy hours, given that it's in China. But have you guys been following it?
I've watched the most of the games, not all the games, but yeah, I watched yesterday. I watched it everything, and today 2 of the 4 matches. So yeah, I'm really really following the IEM.
Actually, before we talk about anything more, I just want to alert guys, we're going to have some spoilers if you guys didn't watch any of the matches from, I guess, today for us. So you might want to mute your mic or mute the sound for about 5-10 minutes here while we talk about it. I know a lot of people haven't watched the VODs yet, so but I think we should talk about it given that it's it's this week and the finale is going to be this weekend. So mute. I'll give it like 5 seconds, and then we'll talk. Okay, what have you thought about the matches? Actually, Trump, have you been watching it too?
I was asleep.
Okay. Actually, I was asleep too, but then I ended up watching the VODs just now. But Thijs, what have you thought about the matches so far?
It was really interesting. You also had people were allowed to ban one class, so it was It was
Yeah.
something different from other tournaments overall, and it was really interesting because everyone was banning priest against the maze, and they
Yeah.
banned also warrior and warlock. They weren't not scared about druids and miracle rogues. I thought everyone will ban the miracle rogues and the druids, but a lot of games were just really open. You had some really close games, some really
Hmm.
games that went really one-sided.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, the banning, I kind of like that whole system. I too was surprised that like Miracle Rogue wasn't banned a lot more. But what do you guys think of that format? Do you guys like it?
Yeah, I really like format with just banning one class. It just your opponent has to play more, prepare more decks. They need to like if a player is really good at Miracle Rogue,
Hmm.
it's really good that he needs to play more decks and people banning out the Miracle Rogue against him. It's just more of a preparing stuff. I really like the format, and
Hmm.
also with the group stage and best of five is way better than a best of three. So I really like that. You need at least best of five. I really like best of seven, but yeah, best of five is okay too.
Yeah, Trump, what
Oh
do you
wow,
think?
so there was a ban and a best of five. That's really good of a format.
Yeah, so I guess you bring four decks, and then your opponent bans one of them. Probably they have the
Yeah,
format there. Yeah,
they bring four decks and yeah, they
they just
can
ban
just
one.
ban one class, so you have three classes left.
Yeah, Trump, what do you think of banning?
It's great. Um, I'm not sure what to say past that. Like, obviously, it has own implications. Like, you can bring more specific decks which have like one big counter, but you ban the counter, or
Hmm.
you just ban their best class.
Yeah,
Introduces a bit more of a strategic element, increases preparedness. So that is excellent.
yeah. I think I'm just gonna go on a limb. I think that'll probably become the standard eventually. Just having this kind of banning process. We've seen banning in different games already, just esport games like League of Legends and Dota 2 and even StarCraft with banning maps. So I could totally just see the same thing in this. Adds kind of an entertainment factor too, just in the beginning. If you can add it to the production too, and just having, just seeing why the players ban that and that sort of thing. It's kind of cool. But yeah, the matches were pretty. I mean, it started off surprising having Strife just getting 3-0'd there. That surprised me, but he he didn't draw very well during those three games. I think was the sum of that. But the Maz game. Did you watch that Ragnaros game where he had Ragnaros on the
Yeah,
board for like 7 turns or something like that? That was
yeah.
so
And Masan had
painful.
just he just had no answer, and the Ragnaros was also just hitting every time
You should
the
have seen
right
it,
minion,
Trump.
or like just most of the time it was just hitting the minion, and when it hit, you walled hit the face to not destroy a totem. It went to the face. So yeah, the Ragnaros from Mas is it's a really good Ragnaros.
It's a special Ragnaros. He's got that deal with
Mhm.
him. No, you should have seen it, Trump. It was. I felt so bad for Mansan. He was playing Shaman. He had no answer for Rag, so he was just throwing totems, throwing minions every single turn on the board, and Amash couldn't remove them all. So it was just like Ragnaros was RNGing like every single turn. It was insane, man. But yeah, so Maz ended up taking that too. Maz, man, he gets that Innervate Yeti a lot, or Innervate coin a lot too. Just this tournament, so he's been working out pretty well for him. The RDU match though, the last one, oh my god, that was exciting. Went down to
Yeah.
like it went down to game five, but that game five even went down to the wire. It was pretty
Mhm.
crazy. But
Yeah, you
go ahead.
went. It was a really exciting match. The last match, he was 2-1 behind RDU, and after that he had a mid warrior left. We
Hmm.
practiced a lot with that mid warrior, and yeah, and in the last match, both players had no lives left, no cards in the hand. It was just yeah, what draws the better minions, and but yeah, at the last point. Uh, the guy from China had
Hmm.
just no lives left and had two cards in his deck, and Adieu just draw his Gnomish, and that was the game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That was exciting. Even the Gino versus Jackie Chan series had a crazy game where one of them was a warlock, I believe, like a zoo lock, and then the other was I can't even remember what the other guy was, but that even went down to like 3 or 4 turns of just drawing just to see what each other was getting, and they would just be short of lethal, both of them by one each time they drew. It was pretty exciting. Overall, though, what do you think about the Chinese players and the Asian players from what you guys have seen?
Yeah, they have some like it's not that different from the Europe and from the people from America. And they almost play the same decks. They have some interesting shaman decks. Like it's more OTK shaman that they are playing, and a bit more control with the druids. But overall, it's really the decks are really similar in my opinion, and the playstyle is also not way different. I think they play a bit more carefully than we shall do. But they played really well. They're surprising me a bit. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we didn't have tournaments from them before, so we didn't know what we could expect from the Chinese people.
Yeah. Trump, what? How much of the tournament have you seen? Have you seen any of the group stages or
I've seen literally zero of it.
zero of it? Okay, so great. So never mind then. No, the Chinese players I think have been having really great showings. We again, I think we've only had maybe 1 or 2 events. The 2p.com event being one of them, or actually 2 of them, right? That we've gotten a chance to see some of them in the past. And quite honestly, the Western teams have just like dominated them, even in those events. So it looks like they're starting to definitely up their game, getting just being able to get at least 2 people in here. Yeah, 2 people in the like just Taiwan and China here in their group of 4 or their semifinals here in this tournament. So definitely good showing. But the finals should be tomorrow or late tonight, I guess, for most of us. So or the semifinals will be late tonight. So check that out. It's going to be I think the Taiwanese and Chinese player Azira versus Gino, and then on the other side it's going to be a Moz versus RDU. So it's going to be
A rematch of the finals, man.
Exactly, a rematch of the DreamHack finals. So it should be exciting, and I'm sure, given the games that we've seen so far, there should be some Ragnaros craziness. You can't ban Ragnaros. If you could just ban one card from a Moz, yeah, I'd be banning Ragnaros for sure, because it's all over the place. What do you guys actually? One thing before we actually move on, what do you?
I
think?
shall just play 2 faceless.
2 faceless instead, so you can copy.
Yeah,
his
just playing
lucky
2 faces
Ragnaros.
against him, so you can get his Ragnaros. He will just hit the Ragnaros of a Maz, so it's just the best minion you killed here.
Ooh, that's good, man. That's good metagaming right there. What do you think about the players banning his priest? Trump, what do you think about that?
Oh man, if there's one thing I've heard about IEM, there's like chatter about the everyone's banning priest against the Moz. I don't know whether or not they brought decks specifically which happen to be weak against priest, though I'm not entirely sure what those are. He's playing an unpopular class, and he's well known for it, and I suppose there's some value in banning out what you perceive to be their best class.
Yeah, or you're not, or
Still,
something you're not familiar with either, right? The comfort level, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah. But
I think against I think Massan shall probably ban the Druid. He had some 3 classes that were really okay or good against Priest, so I think he could probably ban he shall probably ban Druid over it. But yeah, he's just so comfortable with his Priest, so people are just more scared for it. And it's hard to play against Priest if you never played against Priest.
I think that's the
if it
big
is-
reason too. It's like if you haven't practiced against the Moz, and because I think he plays that priest the best in the world, and if you haven't gotten a chance to familiarize yourself with the style that you should be playing against it, then it can be difficult. And he ends up pulling out a lot of crazy wins with it too. It's pretty cool. But okay, but anyways, guys, yeah, definitely check out the semifinals. It's going to be again tonight, and then we actually have DreamHack Valencia coming up. I think it starts today. I'm not sure where you can watch it. The English cast. So me and Raynad were going to cast the English cast, but they've been having technical issues, so there's not going to even be an English cast to DreamHack Valencia.
Oh.
Yeah, but there should be a Spanish cast, so you can actually watch it. Won't understand the casters, but you can check out the games. Hopefully today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So check that out too. Another big event, obviously, in the community.
What do you mean won't be able to understand? Muy bien.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Bien. Bueno. That'd be amazing. I think some of the European casters they have so much energy, man. Like some of them cast it like football games. It's something I just listen to the Italian
Yeah.
cast sometimes on StarCraft, and I just like so entertained, even though I don't
Mm.
understand a bit of what they're saying. But check that out for sure. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the metagame. Even though the metagame is going to only be lasting for another 5 days, I kind of want to get your thoughts on just the last week or so of laddering and what you guys seen. There's been a lot of complaints, obviously, from players that they just don't want to play like I guess Hearthstone until Nax comes out. I mean, just let's just throw it out there, right? And there's been several. It's not just like Raynat. I mean, there have been other people too that said the same thing. And I kind of want to get your thoughts, both of your thoughts. Trump, I'll start with you.
All right. Well, there's some who would argue about how the game is draw stone and how so much of it is about just RNG, but from my experience and like just I've spent some of the time watching Kalento in particular, and like when I always see him, I'm like, he does so well consistently. I doubt it's entirely that. Of course, there's always an element, but you can get an edge, and you can even get an edge running a deck that everyone knows that you're running and that you're good at.
Yep.
So my perspective, it's kind of silly.
Okay, and meta just in general. Like, what do you think of the meta right now?
Let me look up the stats, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thijs, what do you think of current meta right now in ladder?
Yeah, it didn't change a lot. It's just the same like almost with a month ago. You see the paladins now on ladder sometimes from Kalento, but that was more on hype for some days. I don't see it the last days anymore. It's still a lot of miracle rogue, still a lot of druids. You're seeing some shamans now. You see some aggro rogue versions like the backspace rogue
Backspace
is
one,
really
yeah.
popular on the ladder now. Yeah. And yeah, also people are just trying stuff now. They don't care about that much more anymore. They just want to try new things. But I think overall it's just really the same as it was already.
Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to get to Legend with not exactly Kalento's Paladin, just like a little bit mod to it, just kind of my own mods to it. And in that kind of rank 2, rank 1 area, you see a lot of aggro mage now too. I mean, just more and more, just mages actually in that area. And the like you said, the backspace rogue. I actually see more backspace rogue than I do miracle rogue right now in that area. But
Yeah, I had the same today.
yeah, it's good, man. You can die in like turn 5 against the backspace rogue, or the turn 6 if they draw those shadow steps really well. Um, but yeah, so not too much different, guys. Trump, I saw you trying to ladder up the last couple of days. Have you had any deck that you've had more success with than not? I mean, I guess you're looking at your stats right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to say that it's been going disastrously for me as I try to ladder up with a with Miracle Rogue, which actually tells me either I'm supremely unlucky or the more likely scenario is that it actually is a deck that requires quite a learning curve to learn. Um, but yeah, before it gets nerfed, that's probably the deck that I'm going to stick with before Nax comes out, and I look forward to Nax coming out and being able to take trailblaze a different path.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked in the past, Trump and I, just on Value Town with other guests, and just trying to get up to that top 16 mark takes just such a, like a really really good record. Just at least getting up there and being there consistently. Tice, like, what does it take to do that? Because it does seem like, I don't know, when I think about it, it's just like, how can you go like 20-1, or something like that, or 20-2 on the ladder, in which a lot of these people are doing. Like, how do you actually pull that off given the current metagame?
Yeah, I'm happy that I had it first season. I was at the end of this first season, I was legendary rank 6 at Europe, so I already got my qualifier spot, which I'm really happy with. So how I did it, I was really fast legend after 5 days or something. Just I went immediately to 20, and I had a really good streak with 8 wins in a row or something when not a lot of people were legend yet. From that point, I was rank 3, I think, 2 or 3, legend rank 2 or 3.
Mhm.
I was just sitting at my place like 10 days, literally 10 days. I fell down to 10, played 2 or 3 games, won them all, was again at 3. Then I dropped down again. Then I lost the game and I was immediately 18.
Oh
So that
man.
was a bit rough from 10 to 18, and then I won again 5 games. Last day I went down again. I went at 17 the hour before I before the season ended. So I needed to play 1 game, and I was immediately 6. So that was how I took my top
That
16 spot.
sounds crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my.
is a crazy. Like it's really hard, and I'm so happy that I had it the first season. I think the first season was actually. I think it's harder now than it was in the first season
Yeah,
because a lot of more people trying it now.
and there's just more people playing. Period. Right? Like Hearthstone.
Yeah, I can't emphasize how like this is a little bit of bias, but I feel it because I've tried last month and the month before. This is the hardest month. The decks have been more established and people know how to play against the top decks and people know how to play those decks at a very strong level. And there's not much left to throw curveballs left at them, but
Yeah.
this coming week I'm really excited about because
Yeah.
it'll change everything.
And August is the last month, right?
Yeah,
Coming
we
up.
have another month.
Yeah, I mean July, obviously this month, the remainder of this month, and then August will be the last month. So we've still got basically 1.5 seasons left. And Nax, you can make a big run. If you can come up with a cool deck and make an awesome run. But Thijs, you saying that the first 5 days seem to be like super important for you to just establish that MMR like really really high.
Maybe not the first
That's
5 days, but after the 5 days, I went on a really good streak with 8 wins in a row, and that
okay.
was really important. I think that
Okay.
I had that streak, and
But getting it
I
early,
also
I think getting the early
yeah.
MMR seems to be important.
Yeah, it's all about the win rate. Like if you had legend and you make a 8 win streak, then your win rate is so high. It's really hard for other people to get at your win rate. I think that is really important too. And I just had a really good deck in that meta. Everyone was playing Hunter. I had a Druid that was totally countering the Hunter.
Yeah.
And I from the 8 matchups, it was just 7 Hunters or something. And yeah, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, nowadays there's just so many different decks now. Yeah, it's not as it's not as overbearing with even Miracle, right? Miracle like maybe a season ago, it just like everybody was playing it, so you could go backspace rogue butter and pull off like a string of victories. Nowadays, man, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's definitely tough.
Yeah, I was already top. I was 3 days ago. I was top 10, but yeah, I fell down. I was streaming and trying too much decks for the viewers, and
Hmm.
went down hard with all the decks. And now I'm just sitting at around 300 or 400. But
Yeah.
I will make a comeback, I hope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good stuff. Hopefully, you guys keep grinding it out. Get into that top 10, top 16 this season, and the Nax cards would definitely help. I can't. The what are the cards that are going to come out in the first dungeon? It's going to be the web spinner, and I forget the others. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, but we can rehash it next week. So lots of good stuff. Maybe some hunter decks actually going to be showing up in the meta. All right, let's move on and let's talk. Let's do some deck talks like we always do on Value Town here. And I figured we'd talk about this Zeus Shaman because a lot of people were starting to talk about it a little bit since Strifecode broke it out. Well, what's funny is like I was watching Reels' stream the other day when he started his EU account, and he got I can't even remember if he bought packs or he just got started with just even an arena, but he ended up being able to build like somewhat of a Zeus deck. So that's kind of what he ended up going with. And just watching, I was like, man, I never actually ended up playing this Zeus deck, the DKMR Zeus deck, and the way he was playing it against the current meta, especially against like Druid and stuff, it seemed to be working like phenomenally because it gets so much. For those of you who don't know what the Zeus deck is, I kind of put it up here. It's basically a shaman deck that has a lot of spell damage in it. Things like the Ancient Mage that kind of gives you two +2 if you have minions to the left and right of it, and lots of things like that. And it allows you to do like lightning storms that have like amazing amounts of damage, which can clear like board for Druid. And I was like, man, that looks kind of interesting and cool. I kind of wanted to play it, but I wanted to get Legend of Paladin first before I tried it. And then Strife at IEM Shenzhen yesterday, like broke it out like something that looked pretty similar to it. It wasn't exactly the same because it had Violet Teachers in it, but something very very similar with the fork lightnings and everything too. So I kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion on this deck, and maybe what you guys think of it in the current meta. Trump, I'll let you start off.
Wow, that is so edgy, first of all.
Yeah.
Um, I love that Strafkro was willing to take, and I presume he's been like secretly practicing it a bit, take something like this over to a major tournament. I was reminded a bit about Total Biscuit's like spell damage gimmick deck.
The gimmick deck, yeah.
Yeah, I ran Ancient Mage and other things. And this is like a really good example of how something that might seem like a gimmick is actually good in practice when you put like not even good cards with it. Like Fork Lightning is generally accepted as a bad card.
Right.
But you put those together and you put in the other supporting cast of cards and you'd make it less based on the Zeusiness, and you just take more elements from the solid shaman and you like pick and choose. Like it feels more like a mix of the two decks, where you mix the theoretical nature of a Zeus deck with like the more standard and solid backbone of a shaman deck, and then you get something which looks pretty brilliant. So my props to Strafkro for it.
Yeah, Thijs, what do you think of this deck? Or just
Yeah,
Zeus, and then just what we've seen of Strife's deck because it's incomplete.
it was really ballsy for him to bring a deck like this. And just a strong thing is that people don't know how to play against a deck like this. That's always really good in tournament play if people don't know how to play against it. And it is really like it's not a new deck. I saw it already like 2 months ago, but it was just not popular. It was played in a small tournament, and yeah, the deck left. And but yeah, I didn't thought he would bring a deck like this, and I was really surprised. I'm really respecting that he's bringing this deck.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he had so much success on the first day that Azuri, like today, he banned it. That was the deck he banned of Strife Crows.
Mhm.
So we didn't get a
Yeah,
chance to
and
see it
that
today.
that is probably just because you don't know how to play against
Right,
it.
right.
I think that's the important factor.
So getting, I guess, to specifics, because we never discussed the Zeus deck on Valley Town. What do you think is, like, why is it so strong? Like, why is having additional spell damage, just particularly in this Shaman class, so strong? Trump?
Okay, I don't really know since I haven't played the deck. However, I theorize that
Yeah.
you play the Ancient Mage, and then, well, I mean, when you think about it, a 2/5 with for 4 mana with 2 spell damage, like that would be a good card. And when you put in a Shaman, you often can get those turns where you're doing something like turn 3 Totem, Rock Biter their guy, turn 2 Totem, turn 4 Totem, kill their guy, and then you somehow end up with like 2 totems or 3 totems, and then you play an Ancient Mage, and then you like Fork Lightning their Gadgetzan Auctioneer, you Lightning Storm the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, and that's pretty cool. Or you just do massive amounts of damage. Spell damage, I mean, look at how many spells there are. There's Fork Lightning, Lightning Bolt, there's Lava Burst, there's Lightning Storm. So that's a lot of value for the spell damage, in addition to the Shaman just naturally getting the spell damage totem. You can get so much value out of those one-cost cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thijs?
so many. It runs so many cheap spells. So there are so many ways to get spell damage on the board, and the Shaman class is just the class with the cheapest spells, and that makes it just so strong to get it on. Like if it rolls, it can rolls really high. But yeah, I think it's a really good counter to some decks. I think that is the point why you should bring it. I think it can be really strong against Druids, because most of the time you can create the board. But yeah, I'm not sure how the matchups are for this deck, but it looks really interesting, like really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty easy just to integrate it because, like, Trump, you were kind of getting at, I think Shamans in general, the style of play is just getting minions on the board, right? Setting up, typically you're just trying to set up some really efficient trading opportunities with your Flame Tongue and and just establishing that kind of control, right, of the board. And so throwing down an ancient mage, it just makes sense. And then when you have like an air totem with it too, you're looking at +3 spell power on. I mean, which is essentially going to remove anything but a giant, right? Which is with any of your spells, like with lightning bolt, with lightning storm, or anything like that. So it feels like it's just really easy to integrate into the whole thing. It looks like Strife's
Yeah.
not looks like Strife literally just dropped a couple cards, or I guess 3 cards, right? If he has a Fork Lightning from the standard druid, and just put and just kind of integrated just the ability to remove an entire board, right? Because a shaman, a lot of times it's rolling high too, right? To whether you can clear a board completely or not. But this pretty much makes it, I think, pretty guaranteed that you're going to remove the board a lot of times. Any matchups you think it would be, like, any matchups you can think of that's just really good against, like off the top of your head, like from theory?
Maybe Zoo. I don't know. You earn so many spells that you can get rid of every card that he's spamming.
Yeah.
Maybe I also see some way for this deck that it can work against Druid. I'm not sure if it's really work, but I can see some way. Like Shaman is a class that is always a good matchup against the Druid. It's a bit harder now with the mid-range Druid that has a lot of tempo. But I can see a way that this deck can work against against Druid. You have some time to get a board, and maybe you need it with this deck. But I really don't know. I have never played this deck before, so
Yeah, it's hard to just completely theorize. But Trump, what do you think?
Yeah, just +1 on Thijs there. I
Yeah.
genuinely don't know. Seems like something that might be a solid all-around deck.
Yeah.
Similar to Druid, where it's like, it's tough to say whether or not it has good or bad matchups. It just looks like it's a solid deck.
I like the flexibility of the spell damage too, because it gives you the ability to burn a guy down too with Lava Burst and Lightning Bolt potentially at the end of the game. It's given that Lightning Bolt's so cheap too, kind of cool. But yeah, those of you watching, just check it out, just try it out. If you're interested in maybe learning a new deck or just trying something new, this deck seems pretty cool. I actually want to get a chance to play it some too. Given just the interest in it. And again, I was watching Reels play it like one night. You can actually check out his VOD too if you guys from maybe 2 nights ago when he was playing it. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think it's quite interesting. Like, for the longest time, you think of Shaman, okay, it's a Shaman deck, but you know what a Shaman deck is. It's got like all the Shaman-y good cards. And then suddenly, like over the last 2 weeks, or last month, 2 other decks of Shaman were growing in popularity. Like this one just 2 days ago, and then the Crusher Shaman with the Earth Elemental and the Ancestral Spirits. Like,
Yeah.
You've got your own distinct flavors of Shaman too, which is awesome.
Yeah. Totally.
Shaman is so interesting. You can run so many ways. You can just do a mid-range version. You can make it really control. You can make it with Earth Elementals and cards like that. You can make it
The Crusher
like
Shaman,
like a total OTK deck. You can make it spell damage heavy. With Shaman, you can run so many ways. It's a really interesting class.
Yeah, it's always been one of the most dynamic classes, just with just all the different types of minions and abilities in it. So it's good to see that we're starting to see the dynamics of it coming out more, which is really good. All right, guys. Well, what we'll do is didn't really give you guys a heads up, and we don't actually have a thread up. So I want to do some Q&A with you guys, but I want to give you a chance to tweet them in. Tweet them to @ChanManV, and we'll start asking some questions. But just to give you guys some time, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with some Q&A.